On this episode of Would Jamie Eat It? Coffee or espresso?
Welcome back to episode number 29 of Would Jamie Eat It? I am Barkley. This is our resident nutrition expert, Mr. Jaime Rothermick, and today we are tackling the very hot debate of coffee versus espresso.
Good pronunciation,
right?
yes.
Okay, so we're looking at that debate, and this submission comes to us via Facebook Messenger. So thank you for using all different types of technology. Don't forget about Facebook Messenger for getting a hold of us. This comes to us from Michelle in St. Louis. Michelle wants to know, can you give a breakdown on drinking coffee versus espresso? Is one better or worse for you than the other? I pretty much drink espresso every day. I even make it at home and usually drink it over ice with half and half and equal or honey. Have you covered this topic already? We haven't covered this topic specifically, but we did cover coffee and caffeine in previous episodes, 13 and 14, I believe it was. But let's just tackle that question of coffee versus espresso. What's your verdict on that?
So coffee is made by simply pouring hot water over coarsely ground roasted coffee beans through a filter. We know that. Espresso is made by forcing steam or a small amount of water through finely ground coffee beans, and it's very, very concentrated. So in respect to how it's made, it's just a matter of how much water you're using with it.
Okay.
I think the question that Michelle may want me to answer is about the caffeine content. Coffee per 8 ounces contains about 80 to 185 milligrams of caffeine versus 1 ounce of espresso, which we usually, if you're doing it the old-fashioned way, you're taking a 1 ounce or 2 ounce shot of espresso. And a 1 ounce shot will contain about 40 to 75 milligrams of caffeine. So we always think about espresso as being this like just booster of caffeine. But in reality, you're getting more out of the 8 ounces of coffee. I don't think actually, Michelle, there's a big difference from a health standpoint between coffee and espresso. It's really just the concentration level of it and the amount of caffeine, which, like I said, coffee, the cup of coffee is actually going to give you more caffeine. The good and the bad, I don't need to really go through all of that. We cover that in episode 13 and 14, coffee and caffeine respectively. But the verdict is, yeah, I'm a fan of either one. If you like coffee, go ahead. If you like espresso, that's fine too. However, the issues arise when you're drinking it, like I said in the previous episodes, when you're drinking it later in the day, subscribing to a caffeine curfew, because it does have a half-life of 8 hours. So if I'm drinking it at 2 o'clock and I'm going to bed at 9, it still isn't out of my system. You know, so you want to give that coffee or espresso time to get out of the system, or the caffeine time to get out of the system. The second issue that I see is what Michelle brought up right here. The additions that are within our coffee, within our espresso. And I think it was equal honey, half and half. All those low quality calories or chemicals, which if you watched any of these, I'm not a big fan of. And I think that's my challenge is drink it straight or watch out for those low quality calories and chemicals that are easily added to our drinks.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Michelle, for the submission. There's Jamie's verdict. I think a question of the day is, when is your, like Jamie mentioned earlier, when is your caffeine curfew? Are you just a morning caffeine person? Do you have it throughout the day? Do some of you take it later in the afternoon and into the night? When is your particular caffeine curfew?
And do you feel it does affect your sleep?
Does it affect your sleep? Give us a comment. Post it on this episode of Would Jamie Eat It? We want to know. We want to hear from you. We're very interested in what you have to say. Facebook.com/WouldJaimeEatIt. This episode is in the books. We'll see you on the next one.
Espresso. One more time.